name's Joe Royer. I'm the Vice President of R&D of GeoTree Solutions. We thought it would be really helpful to answer some of our frequently asked questions that we get at webinars or at lunch and learns or when we're out talking to customers about our products. So I'm going to have one of our colleagues, Emma, ask me some questions, and we will do our best to answer them here in a series of videos. In this video, we're going to talk about the requirements for installing GeoSpray.
Do you have to stop infiltration before installing GeoSpray?
The short answer is yes, as best you can. So the reality is, if you have infiltration or inflow into the pipe, or really any flowing water, these materials are cementitious. So just imagine you're mixing up cement in any process for that. You apply that into a system and water flows over it. Well, what will happen? If it hasn't cured yet, it's going to wash away that cementitious material and will leave a place where it's missing. So the best practice is, if you can, stop as much of the infiltration as possible before you apply a first application of the liner. But there are often scenarios where you can't get it all stopped, or you're just chasing the water. So in that case, you do your best, you then spray an application, and the good part is now you'll have stopped material in a lot of areas, and you will end up that you can now go back and just work on the small areas that you missed. They'll be immediately obvious because material will have washed away. But as we've talked about in earlier videos, the geopolymer will bond to itself very well. So you're not going to get a joint at those issues, and you're not going to have a problem.
What are the surface preparation requirements?
That's a question we get almost every time we talk about it. So typically what you will see is you have to clean the surface. So if you have a corrugated metal pipe, really a good pressure wash is all you really need, plus stopping any of the infiltration, as we already talked about. If you have a concrete pipe in a sewer, you really have to get the loose material off. So the recommendation is typically to use a 3,500 PSI to 4,000 PSI pressure wash to remove anything loose. If you have things like bitumen in a corrugated metal pipe, or other things that are well bonded to the pipe, you can spray right over those things. It's just a matter of pressure washing, getting anything loose, because what we're really designing for here is we're not designing for the geopolymer to bond to the host structure. We're assuming it doesn't, that it's standalone, but we are wanting it to at least adhere while it's curing so that it doesn't fall off. If it does, it can easily be repaired and patched, but what you're trying to do is prevent those issues.
How do you measure the final application thickness?
So when you're applying a geopolymer, let's say you're applying by a sled, the first thing that people are often going to do is they're going to put in some sort of indicator for the thickness. So oftentimes in a corrugated metal pipe, people are going to glue a stainless steel screw head down so that it sticks out. And if you had to put in 1.5 inches of material, you might make that screw 1.25 inches or 1 3/8 inches so that it's buried by the time you go over it, but it's close to the right thickness. If you're using a spray applied centrifugally cast system, you can calculate the flow rate of the pump, the amount of material, the volume you're trying to apply. So basically this pipe versus that pipe, calculate the volume and say, I should use this many pounds or kilograms of material, and make sure that's what went into the pipe, and then it's going in a consistent way. You can before and after measure. You can, at the end, we don't really like to, but at the end, you can drill into those structures in a few places and double check the depth. And we have seen people do laser profiling, although that tends to be fairly expensive, and you have to have a good laser profile before and after. We've seen that done on a few very critical projects, but typically the depth gauges are the best way to handle it. Hopefully this video has been instructive. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at our website or our email, which will be on the screen, or contact any of your representatives from GeoTree Solutions. Thanks for listening.